The Bamboo Project wholesaling video starts in 3, 2.
Welcome to the Bamboo Project YouTube channel. My name is Donovan Gray.
And my name is Melissa Burnett. We currently have over 300 videos on our channel of our Dr. Sebi inspired diet, travel vlogs, sports, music, clothing, podcast, beauty, and everything us. We live in New York City, and this is episode 18 of our virtual wholesaling series, where we give weekly updates on our journey to close our very first deal.
We started this series for people who wanted to get into wholesaling, who don't have any mentors, who don't have any money, and want the perspective of people just starting out. Today is March 11th, and this is last week's update. So, babe, do you want to go first?
I'll let you go first today.
Okay, all right. So, as you guys may or may not know if you're new to the channel, you're all familiar with Jerry Norton, right? And Jerry had a challenge where he said if you submit 100 offers a month, you will be able to get a deal. So we said, you know what? We're going to try and do 300 offers a month. We're going to try and do 300 offers a month. We figured what? That's about 10 offers a day for the whole month. That should be pretty easy, right? We also decided we were going to record in the month of December all of these calls that we made to reach this 300 offer. We have an update for the amount of offers and calls that we made that month. So, babe, do you want to
sure.
read off the our score?
All right, so let me get the magic piece of paper here. So for the month of December, we made 64 calls. Now, when I say 64 calls, I mean like we called and the person on the other line picked up the phone and actually had a conversation with us. We got 60 voicemails. So about half the people that we called didn't pick up. Out of the 64 people that picked up, we made 26 verbal offers on the phone. I made 8 written offers. Donovan made 5 written offers. So in total, we made 39 offers for the month of December. I think it's a good goal to have because I think it's good to have goals that allow you to push yourself. We were only able to get 39 offers between the two of us. Along the way, you may not hit exactly 100 offers, but along the way you might hit something that will bring you closer to getting your first deal. It's definitely on the harder side of being achievable, just because, like I said, out of all the people that we contacted, half of them didn't pick up the phone. So then out of the half of the people that pick up the phone, I can guarantee you that out of these 64 calls, all of them were not good deals. I can guarantee you that 100%. At that point, there was a point where Donovan and I were just calling just to call. And I think it got to the point where we was just like, fuck it. If it's not a good deal, whatever, we'll try and either make it a deal or try to make that person, that agent, a point of contact, maybe for something else that we're gonna do in the future. Because the numbers don't work for every property. If the numbers worked for every property, then every property would be a deal. Are you gonna hit 100 offers in a month? Probably not. But I think it's a good goal to set for yourself, to push yourself.
I definitely think 300 offers in a month is a lot. That was our goal because I figured, hey, if he said 100, if we do 300, then we should at least be able to hit 100. That's how I looked at it. The problem or the challenge that comes with trying to submit that many offers are, the biggest one is if you get a property under contract, right? Because during that month, we got properties under contract in December. What happens with that is now you have to do the other legs of wholesaling, which is now you got to find a buyer. You got to have somebody go to the property because we do all of our stuff virtually or remotely. So you have to keep doing that. Then you have to deal with following up. Then people are calling you back from before. All of those things take up time. And all of those things taking up time kind of lessens the amount of time that, or reduces the amount of time that you have to submit more offers. On top of that, submitting an offer takes time in itself. So if you was to say that, let's say writing up a contract, because we use Jerry Norton's, in the 10K Club, he gives you an offer sheet that we can use. What I've realized is that what he has given us to use is more so like a letter of intent. It seems like when it comes to on-market properties, because most agents don't take those contracts. Now, off-market, I think it'd be a lot easier because the person that we're giving a contract to is not licensed in real estate, so they kind of, as long as you sign a contract, it's fine. But most licensed people are like, nah, I really need you to give me a state contract because I don't know what the fuck this is. This is not gonna work. We have to fill out that form or contract or letter of intent, LOI is another word for it, because we take that and we give it to the agent as a term sheet with all terms that we want for the property. Then that takes like, let's say 10 minutes. Let's say it takes 10 minutes for that, right? Maybe to fill out one contract takes 10 minutes, right? What is 10 minutes times 300?
It's 50 hours.
Okay, so that's 50 hours out the month of just writing up the contract. And I think it takes up more time than you think. That's 2 days out the month of literally just writing up a contract. So now we only have, in the month of December, we have 29 days left. We don't wholesale every single day. On a Saturday, I like to play basketball. On Tuesday, we have the podcast. So if editing goes into that, we post other videos. So we have about a solid 4 days possibly of where we can wholesale. And we would try to sit down and wholesale from 11 a.m. to about 4 or 5 p.m. Then after that's when we start writing the contracts up. We still have to eat. We still have to take a shower. We still have to do regular life stuff. That's another thing that comes into wholesaling.
And then in that particular month, it was December, we actually traveled, I think, for Christmas or something like that.
That was Christmas too, right?
Yeah, it was Christmas, Kwanzaa, and then it was New Year's. So it's like there was, you know, I think there was a week that we did not do any wholesaling at all, basically. You also have to look for cash buyers in that time too. So if you're looking for cash buyers for the deal that you already have under contract, you're not going to be submitting offers.
Yeah, and the other thing too, because they're on market deals as opposed to off market, I don't really know how the automatic dialers work. So when it comes to off market things, I believe you can submit like a Excel spreadsheet into your dialer and it will just go down a list of calling them. I don't know how that would work with on-market properties, because for each specific property, we have to go and then run the numbers on it, and then we have to find the person's number and call the agent. And it takes a little bit more time to do that. So let's say that every property we looked at, how many do you have on there?
124.
Okay, so 124 calls we made for the month, right? Now let's say that each one of those properties we had to run the numbers on. So that could that can be 30 minutes. Maybe less. I'm not gonna say 30 minutes. It can be probably like 25 minutes to find that property. Jeez. And like get all the numbers down, get the phone number, get everything settled, and that's what we call on. So now you're doing 25 minutes times 126 properties. What's the math on that? So we have another 2 days out the month of just running numbers on property. So we got 2 days of submitting contracts and 2 days of running numbers. So out of the 30 days, out of 31 days, 4 days are gone to just calling people and writing numbers up. That leaves you with 26 days left.
It forced us to kind of grow up in wholesaling faster because, you know, we, like we just said, we started probably November, maybe October. And what I mean by that is you get so much experience from doing things like just every single phone call is another thing. It's like, snap, why did I say it like that? Did I sound immature? Did I sound like I don't know what I'm talking about? And then now you know what a PAR contract is. Now you know, like, all the information that we have in all these prior weeks from these wholesaling videos. A lot of that foundation came from the month of December and us doing this challenge. Another thing I don't think is taken into account if you were to try the 100 challenge or 300 offer challenge is that every phone call that you get on the phone with is not a 2-minute phone call. Bruh.
So for me specifically, I'm building rapport with the agents or with the seller. I could be on the phone for somebody for 30 minutes or more. And let's say I'm only calling from 11 to 5, 30 minutes, I do that 3 times, that's an hour and a half of me just calling people, of me just being on the phone with 3 people. That's not including me looking for properties. So if I look for 10 properties, each property is 20 minutes. That's what, 200 divided by 60. What's that? It's like another 2-3 hours, something like that. So in that amount of time, I'm on the phone for 30 minutes 3 times. I'm looking for properties, that's the 25 minutes each, and then I have to submit a contract, or I might have to, something else might come up. So little by little, your hours are getting chipped away. And this is us wholesaling 4 times a week. So that's 16 days. So we have 16 days out of the month to wholesale. 4 of them are already gone. So now we have 12 days left out of the month to wholesale. Yeah, and then now you gotta think about getting on the phone with somebody. And then the other thing that we realized with that is, I kind of touched on it earlier, is following up and people calling you back. So they might call back in the middle of the night, or they might call back later in the day or early in the morning. And it's a lot to try and, like I said, to bring all of those things together while still submitting offers and still running numbers on other properties. And you're still a human being. Yeah. So you're going to get tired, you're going to get stressed out, and you're going to be like, bro, I don't want to do this no more. Like, I've talked to so many people who are doing wholesaling who are like, bro, this is not what everybody told me it was going to be when I watch the videos on YouTube. Like, this is crazy. Like, I'm trying to submit offers. They don't want to take my offer. I don't have a proof of funds. The contract, they don't want to take my contract. Nobody, I got, you know, JV deals, and the JV deals aren't working the way they're supposed to. And it's like, it's so many things that go into wholesaling outside of what you see on YouTube, where it's like, call somebody, make 100 calls, you find a deal, you get a buyer, boom, you're done. And it's like, there's life that happens in the middle of that, or inside of that people don't really talk about. And just for that example, like Melissa said, December was Christmas. So that's more time that we take out of that because it's Christmas. So it's like, you know, how do you kind of approach that?
The way that it's marketed to us is that, like, if you follow these steps, you'll be able to get a deal. So, you know, step A is to find the property. Step B is to get it under contract. C is to find a buyer. And then boom, D, that's when you go to the closing table, get your money and everything like that. But I don't think that wholesale deals really go down like that. I think it's more so like after, you know, you build the relationships and you build the rapport and you know, have those resources that you made yourself, that you'll be able to like kind of get a deal. I feel like after the phone calls that we've had, we still have agents that are texting us. It's like, hey, this property might be a good one for you. Donovan has agents that sends him 20, 30, 50 properties in an email a day or something like that for him to just look through. And it just kind of makes things easier because the agents know what you're looking for. Like, if you get on the phone and you're just like literally like a robot, like, hey, how much does this cost? I want it for $50,000. And then that's it. You know, you don't get to build that up. The whole point of wholesaling is to make the relationships. I think that's really, really what it comes down to.
Another thing I had to learn from doing the challenge is, I guess, what you would consider submitting an offer. Because when we first started the challenge, I wasn't even sure what that meant to submit an offer. Because I didn't know if that meant just say, hey, $25,000 for the house. Does that count as an offer? I didn't know if I had to actually submit a contract offer to them. So I wasn't sure. So, and I had wrote Jerry on one of his comments, and he responded, and he said to call, I think he said to call them. Because I asked, how do I submit an offer? He said to call them. So I don't know if that meant like, hey, give them a verbal offer or give them a formal offer. I definitely think it's possible with off-market properties. If you're submitting offers that are verbal offers a month, I think it's very easy to submit 100 verbal offers a month. I do not think you would build a good rapport with a lot of people doing that because you'll just be calling them. But if it's off market, I think it's a lot easier because you put it in the dialer and people come up on the phone, you call them, hey, your house. Another thing too, if you're doing the phone dialer thing, do you ever talk to them about, how do you know who you're calling? Is there like a price that you have on your phone? How do I know what numbers attached to what property? Do I have to like have a spreadsheet and I know which one is being called at the time that it's being called? I don't know. But for on-market properties, it's definitely a little bit different because I would have to input manually each person's number. And at that point, I might just call them.
You had said that you think that off-market is probably easier. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I wouldn't necessarily say that. I think it's probably a different set of problems.
No, I'm saying that it's easier to submit 100 verbal offers.
Oh, okay, I get what you're saying.
Right.
Because this is you need to just
calling them and you just go 100, hey, 100,000, 200,000, 400,000, 300,000. You could do that. So I think that that's easier to do. But I think that but even with doing that, I don't know how you would know anything about the property.
Yeah, it's the quantity versus quality. I feel like.
Exactly. So, and I think with Jerry, I have a dealinator that, you know, it applies Jerry's logic of 80% of the purchase price. And he was saying that if it's 80% of the purchase price, then you would go in and you would try and like really buckle down and really fine tune the numbers. Anything under 80%, you just submit an offer and leave it alone. So if I was to condense all of December, I would say life comes at you fast because one day you can have no numbers, no contacts, no nothing. And then 3 days you have 4 people texting you about a property, you have a contractor following up with you, you have somebody trying to get a proof of funds, and it can happen just like out of nowhere. You thought you didn't have nothing, or you submitted 4 offers, you didn't hear back from anybody for a week, and the next week you hear back from 7 people, and you're like, whoa, I still got to make calls today, and I got to deal with the other 7 from before, and it, like I said, it comes at you really fast. So that's what I would say I learned from the month of December. What did you feel like you learned from the month of December?
Well, for me personally, just because of like my personality, I learned that coming off as agreeable is not gonna help you move forward or propel yourself, because I feel like I kept running into like walls because when I was on the phone, I either wasn't standing up for the information that I know, I wasn't questioning enough. Like I just kind of took what the agent said for what they said, as opposed to, you know, talking about it and being like, well, no, because across the street, there's a house that sold for 170 and, you know, you're trying to sell me this house for 180 and this house is not fixed up like that house. And I think that that is necessary in order to get a deal. So I learned that that is something that really needs to be a skill that really needs to be tightened and honed in order to be in this business. If they ask you how you paying, like when they say cash, if they ask you how you paying, say private money. That's a good one. If you are virtually wholesaling, tell them that you have a team or someone that can check out the property for you, so that they don't just try to cut off the conversation from your initial call.
So we still cold call now. We haven't been doing it the same way we were doing it before, because again, things come up as far as following up different deals, which ones are actually good deals versus bad deals, which ones are a waste of time. You know, there's a lot of different things like that. We don't have a number now that we're going to submit every month, but obviously we still wholesale more or less every day. And every day is different as far as what we do for wholesaling. Some days might be looking for properties. Some days are researching and learning about real estate. Other days you're talking to agents or contractors or buyers, or trying to find buyers, or trying to make sure that our list of properties, our lead list is like organized and things like that. So like I said, once you start wholesaling more, you start having more things to do in wholesaling. So that's another thing I feel like I learned. But so that's pretty much it for our update on the Jerry Norton 100 deals a month. Now, this is the update for what we went through last week. I found a deal, right? And in my opinion, this is probably a very, very good deal. If you guys are new to the channel, then you probably will not know this. Oh, before I even get to this, I wanted to say too, in the month of December, I believe that is the month that I got 3 properties under contract and lost all 3 of them. I think that was that same month. So you can imagine how stressful that was on me to try and do that and then go back to wholesaling and all of that stuff. But that's just
LeGrand, right? That's just dominant. So right. I had my own from that one too. And with Jerry Norton, as far as submitting deals to him, it was just crazy. So that's another thing I forgot to say. That thing, I'll put the link up here somewhere of that day or the days that I lost the contracts because of craziness with Facebook and whatnot. But as far as the property right now that I do not have under contract, but I possibly will have under contract this weekend, you know that I be trying to force deals. I've been going through so much with wholesaling. I'm like, you know what? I want to make this a deal really badly. I want this to be a deal. I'm going to try and fight the numbers. Like, okay, maybe if they change renovation, maybe if they try and rent it like this, maybe if they use this comp from over here, then everything will make it a deal. So I decided I'm going to have my beautiful, phenomenal, amazing girlfriend look over my deals. The reason why is because she's not emotionally attached to finding deals. She's like, well, if we find a deal, we find a deal. If we don't, we don't. Me, I have an emotional attachment because I'm like, bro, I've been doing this for so long. I want to find a deal. I found one recently, right? I used my Dealinator and honestly came back at like 100% or 99, which damn near never happens. Honestly, it's 104%, which is crazy. That never happens. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to bring it to Melissa, let her look over it because the number's looking really good on it. So I might as well figure, hey, let's see if she thinks it's a good deal. She ran the numbers on it. She overlooked my comps. She overlooked everything on it. She's like, yeah, this seems like it's going to be a good deal. It's listed at 110, right? I talked to my contractor who I found in Philadelphia a while ago, honestly. And I said, hey, $75,000. What do you think we could do with this? He said, I could do that. $75,000 is the budget. We can get it done for $75,000. I said, okay. The ARV on the property is 260 and higher.
Honestly, it's 260 and higher. I'm gonna say that. I think it's 270 and higher, but 260. That would be an ARV of 260, rehab of 75, and a buy price of 110. Can you do the math on that real quick? So it has a buy price of 107, right? Now that's the 70% rule. With that amount, if we were to get it at that price, we would make, I think numbers like $40,000. It's something like that, somewhere about $40,000. In Philadelphia, I've noticed that a lot of people buy property at 75%. We have never flipped a house before, so we wouldn't want to make the 25, 35, 40,000 everybody wants to make. If we made 22 or something like that, we'll be fine with that. So I'm like, well, if we get it for close to that, we could still get, you know, a $5,000 wholesale fee. So now I'm looking at the property. I'm like, this is a good wholesale price. Like, this is good. And like I said before, I think that the ARV is definitely higher than 260. I think it's 270 plus because the properties that sold for 260 in the area are 200 square feet smaller than the property that I'm looking at right now. So that's why I think we would be able to get more than 260. I'm like, yo, this would really be a good property. The last 3 episodes ago, I had found a property, got it under contract, and I had found a lender to kind of run numbers for me. I got the idea from, it was Jamie from Texas. I was talking to him, and he was saying that to call lenders and be like, hey, see if they can run numbers for you and help you out. So I did that. I kind of built a relationship with this lender, and I mean, now I have a lender, a contractor, an agent, and a property. So I'm like, hey, I feel like I have everything I might need to flip the property myself. I feel like maybe I should just do it myself and keep the $40,000 that I can make on it. I'm like, maybe I'm gonna just do that. So I called the agent and he was like, yeah, you know, right now they have an offer. The highest offer they have is listing price, which is 110. So I'm like, can we do 112? He's like, listen, my math says 112 higher than 110. So if you want to do that, we could do that because why not? Like, it's higher. Let's go with that one. So I'm like, okay. So right now I have a strong offer of 112. I'm going to follow up with him because he said that the showing started today, which is March 11th, and they will make a decision on Saturday, which will be March 13th. And then I'll know whether or not my offer was accepted on this deal. So this would be my first flip. Now, the only problem, I guess, would be getting the down payment for the property. Because what I found out from the last property I had in the contract is that they will lend you 85% of the construction cost and the rehab cost. That comes out, it comes out to like $189, I think. So pretty much that means I have to come up with about $25,000 to $28,000 for this property out of my own pocket. I've seen some things where Jerry talked about finding another lender to cover that percentage, that 15%. So I'm going to look into doing something like that where I can cover the other 15%. That way, I personally don't have to put down any money myself. So I would have somebody to give me the money for the 85%, which would be the hard money loan or hard money lender. And then the 15% would be from a private lender plus whatever funds I already have, whether it be credit cards, cash saved up, or whatever the case might be, or if I borrow some from my sister or something like that. This would be my first property that I flip if I get under contract. We will close in 14 days. So now if I get under contract, I got to learn how to finesse this and get it finessed and fixed and everything in 14 days. So I'm kind of excited. If it doesn't go through, I'm not really going to feel the type of way because we've been looking at deals differently. So anything that we feel like is not a really good deal, we don't even really waste our time on anymore. So I feel like with that kind of mindset, it's going to be a lot easier to find deals because anything that's not fitting, we're like, nah, throw that out. Like, it may be close, but nah, we want a good one, throw the other ones out.
Before we started wholesaling, he wanted to flip a house. That was his initial goal. So I just think it's funny that it's kind of like we're back in that realm of maybe flipping a house while we're still doing wholesaling. And one thing that we did talk about is Atlanta and Airbnb. Because yesterday Donovan go look at me and be like, so which would you rather do? Would you rather flip a house or go to Atlanta? And I'm like, I want to go to Atlanta. But basically, with the flip the house option, we would do that first and still go to Atlanta and still do Airbnb. We would just have to push back the timetable even farther than it is now. Because right now, we're supposed to be heading down to Atlanta probably by the end of June or mid-July. If we do flip this house, I thought it was May, June. What is it?
It's July, August.
July, August. I ain't heard the word August before. I ain't never heard that word before. It's June, July.
Definitely July, August.
It was never July, August.
It definitely was.
I never August. That
Yes.
don't even sound right coming out of my mouth. Like that was not the either way. It was June, July, but apparently now it's July, August. Because I'm like, that's not even a big deal then. Because
It's 6 months.
You said that you no. Listen,
6
every
months-
every time
6 months from
every time
February.
a month passed don't mean you add another month.
6 months in February. February, March, April, May, June, July, August. That's 6 months.
It wasn't 6 months from February.
It was.
We was
He
about
said
to- no,
3 to
'cause
6 months.
We did that in January.
So July. It's July.
Exactly. That's what I'm
It's
saying. There's no
July,
August. You don't go to a next month and
Oh
then
my
add
goodness.
another month
We
to
went-
the dead
we
to
went
the
to
deadline.
Atlanta in February or in January?
We went to Atlanta in January. Because we was
We
about
did.
to be
We
out of
moved-
here
we
in
moved
February. Yeah,
Facts.
bugging.
But wait,
There was no August.
no, because we didn't do the AJ thing until February.
It was still August, the timetable.
No, because we were waiting for AJ.
No.
Yes.
It wasn't that far. It
It-
wasn't that far. It wasn't. I don't think the AJ thing
It
happened.
happened in February.
It didn't. It happened in January.
You wanted
Everything
to.
happened
No,
in
it didn't.
January because there was no August. There was no August. So yeah, because that wouldn't even make sense for me to even feel any type of way about it because August is just a month away from September. Because that's what he's saying now, that we would have to push back. If we get the house, we'd have to push back the timetable to September instead of June, July, like we was talking about.
It's not no June. It was never June. It was never June ever.
It was a
never-
J.
July.
Okay.
July,
As long
August.
as we on no, there
Because
was no
July
August.
on the best
There's
and
no
the best
August.
amount of time is July,
There's
and
no
the worst
August.
is anything after July, which is August. So even with that being said, the reason I was saying that it answered that question is because if we get the property flipped, I think the property could be rehabbed in 3 months or less. That's my opinion as a person who never flipped the house before. So if we got the property in the contract in the next 14 days, well, this is March, you got April, May, June, and then it's finished, and then you have July, August to sell it. I think we could sell it in 2 months because the properties there sell pretty quickly. They sell within 60 to 90 days. So I feel like, and if depending if we price it right, I think it would sell pretty fast. So I'm like, you know, I think we could be done out by September. Now, September, October. Now, the reason that I said that we have to push it back is because if we have to exhaust our credit cards to be able to put the down payment on this property, then our credit would take a hit. And then I feel like we wouldn't have the actual money to go to Atlanta to live and pay for a rent and stuff like that. Or be able to have a credit score to do that, because our credit score is going to go down significantly if we max out our cards. So that's that. The last thing I want to talk about is something called draws. If you are not familiar with flipping a house, this is something I had to learn about how construction works for houses. If you want to get if the hard money lender is going to pay the construction cost for your property, right? You have to put up the money first for them to pay you back. And you don't put up all the money, you put up a portion of it, and that's called a draw. So let's say that the house right now says $75,000 renovation, but let's say that I said it's $70,000. I would have to go to my contract and be like, here's $10,000, start the project. He would start doing stuff. Let's say he starts doing drywall or paint or flooring, whatever he starts to do, right? Then once that $10,000 is already put in, he did the work, I would call a hard money lender. Their inspector would come, look over the property, and then they would give me a draw, which would be $10,000. Then I would take that $10,000 and pay the contractor with that again. And then the whole process continues or repeats. They do some more work. The inspector comes out again, checks it. Okay, here's another $10,000. And then because it's the last $10,000, when they finally come out to do the last inspection, they pay $10,000 again. That money would reimburse me. Now, the reason it's an issue is because I'm thinking if I have the money to pay for it and I got a loan, a lender, I'm good. Now I got to find another $10,000 to start off the project with that I don't know how to find that. That's going to be another issue. Oh, all the other fees that I have to pay before I even... I put that in the last episode, I think, where it was like I had a picture, maybe the last two, I don't know which one. I had a picture of all the fees you have to pay when you apply for a hard money loan, which nobody talks about. Nobody says these things. Because I'm like, as a person who don't have no money, every dollar you spend, you want to know where you don't really want to spend it. If you guys pay $500 for application fee, then you got to pay 3% origination fee, which is paying on the monthly interest on the loan. Listen, it's a lot of expenses I got to pay. I thought if I get a down payment for the property, I would be good. I thought if I get the 30, I give them 30, and I go about my business, and that's it. No, I got to pay every month. Probably got to pay for utilities. I probably got to pay interest rate, which is fine, which is carrying costs. But I just was. I thought 30,000. Here you go. We're done. Property gets flipped. I come back and get paid. It don't work like that. So
earnest money.
Earnest money. I gotta put down earnest money twice. I gotta put down earnest money for the lender, the hard money loan, and I gotta put down earnest money for the actual property. I'm just like, bruh, this is a lot. This is a lot. And so I wasn't expecting that. So we gonna keep updated with that. Maybe this, it probably won't. I was gonna say maybe this series will turn into a flipping series where I'm like, oh, flipping my first property. But I would probably make a second series for that one because that would be kind of funny. So we're gonna have an Airbnb series. We're gonna have a wholesale series. And we about to drop a new series called The Dealinator, which will be coming out on Wednesday, where I will use the Google Sheets Dealinator that I made to find deals and show how we run our numbers to see what a good deal is and a good deal is not. It's free. If you want it, just DM me. You can email me. You can write in the comments. I'll just send it to you and you can use it for yourself. And actually, we're about to record that video next. And that's pretty much wraps it up for the last week's update. I think I covered everything that I want to go over.
So yeah.
Yeah, so that's it. We want to start making these videos shorter. I realized over the last like couple of weeks, they've been like an hour some change. I want to get them down to like 30, 45 minutes in that kind of time stamp area. So, but with that being said, anything you want to touch on?
No, just looking forward to the Dealinator videos and looking forward to these whole call videos.
Okay, so you guys know the vibes. Hashtag Bamboo Project 2021.
Yes.
Bamboo Project out.